We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
Ready? And it's all thanks to Kyle.
Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
It's been 5 months since the start of the USF Juniors presented by Cooper Tire season, all the way back in late March at Sebring International Raceway. We fast forward ourselves here to what is an unbelievably warm weekend here in Austin, Texas, a Circuit of the Americas to cap off a triple header here in this USF Juniors program, the second season of this intro level for the USF Pro Championships. And it is a warm one, as I said. Welcome, race fans. Rob Howden here from the PA booth just inside of turn 20 here on this 3.41-mile circuit. The challenging racetrack, as we all know. Formula One will invade here in mid-October. Drivers rolling out onto the track right now, and that is the pole sitter, Jack Jeffers, as we get set to go again for race number 3. 107 degrees right now here, ambient temperature trackside. You'll look at some of the online forecasts, and they'll show you the temp. Feels like 111 degrees. That's what it's like. It has been a challenge for the drivers. It's been a challenge for the staff and crew. I'll give a big shout out to the guys who are in the USF Pro TV trailer right now. The air conditioning hardly keeping up with it. 103 degrees inside that trailer. Those guys are digging to give you the best coverage we possibly can here around the racetrack, and of course streaming on the app and on the YouTube channel as well. We've had some issues with dropping the feed, all based on the fact it is insanely hot here right now. Everybody ready to wrap things up here. We'll get these drivers out of the cars, get them covered with some water to cool them off. The warmest race of the weekend, and again, a challenge for these young drivers. All 18, once they get out of these cars, will deserve kudos for being able to get through a very, very tough race here. Tough conditions for sure. Coming out of turn number 12, we'll go green this time by. Let's start at the tail of the field. Giovanni Cabrera and Hudson Potter will be on row number 9. Row 8, Aiden Potter in the 3, and Bianca Bustamante in the 95. Row 7, Dane Scott alongside Connor Roberts. On row 6, it'll be Carson Eder and Brady Golan. Row 5, Eric Schouten and Hudson Schwartz. Row 4, starting 7th and 8th, Joey Brienza, podium in race number 2 today. Earlier today, he'll try to do that again from 8th alongside Lucas Fakuri in the number 17. Race 2 winner, Jimmy Lockhart, getting that first win in the books. He's going to start the VRD machine from 6th alongside his teammate Ethan Barker, another driver looking for that breakthrough win. Row number 2, Quinn Armstrong on the outside, the Aussie for D-Force Racing in the number 16. He's in a championship battle for second spot. Title already locked and loaded for the driver. Will start on the outside of the front row, Nicholas Giafoni, but Quinn Armstrong will launch beside Max Taylor in the number 33. Taylor currently 6th in points. He's in the middle of a fight as well with Ethan Barker and Lucas Fakuri for that position, but on the front row it will be Nicholas Giafoni on the outside, Jack Jeffers on the inside. They sit first and second in the points. Giafoni locking down the championship and that scholarship to go to USF 2000 racing with a tremendous run to the top 5. So he ends up starting second, but already has that championship. Jack Jeffers and Quinn Armstrong separated by just 4 points. Jeffers a big win yesterday, but as we know, the issue with contact with Giafoni in race number 2, it's tightened things up. Jeffers versus Armstrong for second place in the points, and again, battles further back as well. Brienza and Lockhart separated by 1 point. So even Eric Schouten and Brady Golan separated by 1 point to get a spot inside the top 10. It is tight. Field set. For the final time in 2023, we're about to go green flag racing. Drivers will get into position. USF juniors, a little contact between both Jeffers and Giafoni coming to the line, and we're green. Yeah, they're touched. They came up there. You saw both drivers having to adjust. They'll come back up the hill. We're 4-5 wide deeper in the field. Big move to the bottom of the racetrack. And Giafoni's going to try to go around the outside of Jeffers, who gets the big run down the hill. One driver around, and I believe that's the number 90 of Schouten. He has gone around. Eric Schouten, the number 90, around, as is the 17 of Lucas Facuri. So those two drivers go around in turn number one. You got to expect someone got into the back of Schouten for him to go around as he did. Facuri with nowhere to go. He'll try to get that car refired as we're still green. They'll run green flag for quite a bit here, I would bet, with Facuri at the very top of the hill. They'll be able to go yellow when they get to start finish if indeed he's not able to get things back underway. So hopefully Lucas Facuri will be able to get that car fired because he's going to fall down here now. Remember, he was potentially going to battle with Ethan Barker for a championship position for 7th. That'll go by the wayside now. Facuri still there in turn number 1, but here's the battle down to turn number 11. Giafoni's taking the lead early in the number 19. It is Jeffers sitting there in the 2nd spot. 3rd, I believe, is going to be Hudson Schwartz. We'll see how it all plays out as the guys just start getting rolling here now. Facuri still there. And another driver's gone off. More contact further back. That's the 93 of Giovanni Cabrera. Right front damage for Cabrera. That will bring out the full course yellow. That guy is not going anywhere. So trouble for Cabrera with some contact there as well. Giovanni for Exclusive Autosport not finishing the season off as he would have liked. Right front damage. Didn't get a chance to see exactly what happened in that incident down there in that corner. Nonetheless, the field's still clean and green. I would expect to see us go full course here. There we go. I got things back down up. Yeah, I need full course yellow. As Facuri still in turn number 1. Cabrera out in turn number, I want to say potentially turn number 15, but I'm not exactly sure at this point. Everyone coming down to a stop here. They'll slow the cars down here. Full course yellow. We'll give you a full field rundown when they come back across, but an inauspicious beginning with a couple of incidents. One up in turn number 1, which hopefully we can see a replay of the restart when we get a chance. The safety crew has worked its way now up there to Lucas Facuri. He was not able to fire. I'm not sure whether or not there was damage to the car. He's still in the car. Quick chat with the AMR USF Pro Safety Team. Again, quickly onto the scene once we went full course yellow. So here's your lineup. Giafoni leads, Jeffers in 2nd, Lockhart 3rd, Taylor 4th, Barker 5th, Armstrong in 6th, Brienza 7th, Schwartz, Golan, and Connor Roberts rounding out the top 10. Carson Eder in 11th, Bianca Bustamante in 12th, Aiden Potter 13th, Dane Scott 14th, Hudson Potter 15th, and Eric Schouten able to continue. This full course definitely helping out Eric Schouten, as indeed Facuri will climb out. Here's the replay as they come up here. Let's have a look here. Look deeper in the field. As they come through, Schouten coming across the bow. He tries to pinch. Yeah, there's contact there. Eric was trying to come across, and I think Facuri was holding spot. That kind of more of a racing incident. You watch as they come through. The white Exclusive Autosport car on the outside trying to come in. Facuri's got nowhere to go. He's got a couple drivers inside of him who are trying to pinch off and check up as well. And it was left front to right rear contact, or rather right front to left rear contact. Look at these guys skating around the outside to try to avoid this. Great job for Carson Eder, for Dayton Scott. All those drivers having to take full evasive maneuvers to driver's right to get through the incident. So a couple, as we say, different incidents on track. One for Facuri, one for Cabrera. Nicholas Giafoni, though, getting the lead on the start. So, again, let's have a quick look here at the championship battles. We've talked about this before. Jack Jeffers and Quinn Armstrong currently sitting in 2nd and 3rd in points. Right now, Joey Brienza is back by the amount right now, 263. What he has, even if he were to get full points, which he now can't because he was not on the pole, it would only put up to Armstrong. So Giafoni, Jeffers, and Armstrong will be the top 3. Giafoni's got the championship locked. It's whether or not Jeffers or Armstrong comes home in 2nd. But I will say this, all 3 of those drivers will be joining us in Portland next Monday evening. Not tomorrow, but the following Monday evening for the championship celebration. USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000 will all be honored. The top three for all those categories, all honored at our annual championship celebration. Really looking forward to that evening, as I always do, as the entire staff of this USF Pro Championship does, and get a chance to celebrate the success and the performances of these drivers throughout the season. Looking forward to that as well. So Giafoni, Jeffers, and Armstrong will be there. Top three are the ones that get honored at the event, and whether or not Armstrong or Jeffers come in second, that still remains to be seen. 12 laps the distance of this race. They'll put 2 in the books when they come back around. Crew now over to Cabrera. They're still having to get the car up of Fakuri. Has 2 different incidents on the track, one in turn number 1 and one I'm not exactly sure. I think turn 11. So potentially, that is turn 11. So that's on the way down into turn number 11, that downhill run into the left-hander that leads onto the straightaway. There is the car of Cabrera. I believe Gio's already out of the car, I think, at this point. So Giovanni Cabrera already out of that number 93. The Kariba Marmon-backed machine. For both those drivers, that's not the way you want to cap off the season, right? You want to be able to drive home. You want to be able to put it back on the trailer. You hate to get involved in an incident in the final circuit or the final race, but man, every race is a race, right? You're still going hard at it. Right front damage there for Cabrera. Not quite sure who the contact was with him. I don't think we have a replay of that one there. Nonetheless, Giafoni was able to get the lead. You got to think the pressure is off that young Brazilian right now. Of course, race number 1 yesterday afternoon was big for him. To be able to get the 3rd place finish on the podium really locked things down. He knew at the end of that race all he had to do was start race 2 or race 3 to get enough points. With 18 drivers in the field, last place points, 18th, is worth 3 points. That's all he needed to have enough of a gap coming in to race number 2 to be able to have it locked and loaded. So, indeed, the pressure now off for Giafoni. He can go out there and just race hard and get another USF Juniors event in the books. Maybe a win. Doesn't really matter for him in terms of the points, but an opportunity again for Giafoni to have some fun out there. He's already locked it down. Had the celebration after race number 2, and nicely there was a decent amount of time as well. We had probably about 3 hours between races. So we had an opportunity to kind of hang out with the fans a little bit. I saw the 2023 USF Juniors Champions T-shirts that they already had printed up. Thought that was a really nice touch. And the D-Force crew and, of course, the Giafoni supporters really having a good time after that was all said and done. We took some pictures that we'll use as well with the team and the car and the Champions Trophy, sized them up for the championship ring as well. So all the little steps that you get once you've locked in a championship, good for Giafoni. And again, you got to remember, he did come out of the gate super strong throughout the season, won a bunch of races, had a big weekend at Barber Motorsports Park, winning a couple there. And again, it's just been a good run for the Brazilian. We'll see what he's able to do in USF 2000 next year with that scholarship worth over $241,000, $890 to be exact, which is the USF Juniors Champions Discount Tire Scholarship Program value. Again, over $1.6 million on offer. Great group of young drivers here in USF Juniors for this year, for 2023, our second year for the USF Juniors program. And again, talk a little bit about the drivers from different countries. Quinn Armstrong from Australia, got a number of drivers from Brazil, and Lucas Fakuri, Nicholas Giafoni, and Eric Schouten. Bianca Bustamante here this weekend from the Philippines. And again, a number of drivers throughout the U.S. Aiden Ingrata from Canada running at Road America. We'll see him in juniors next year. Big thank you to Discount Tire for being part of our program this year. They are the official tire retailer of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. At Discount Tire, we know your time is valuable. Get a 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Visit discounttire.com today to schedule your appointment. I think we're going back to green flag. One driver has pulled into pit lane here. Unsure which driver is coming to the pits, but indeed following that pace car in. Not quite sure who that was, but maybe one of the VRD cars, maybe one of the Jay Howard cars. Not quite sure who came into the pits. Let's have a look here. Looks like it was Max Taylor in the 33 Unsure why Taylor coming to pit lane, but indeed he has, and that's a really big thing for the championship battle as well. Because remember, he was in a bit of a fight with his teammate Ethan Barker. Here we go. Look at this. Side by side, coming down the hill into turn number 3, 4, and 5. Jeffers trying to get by. Jeffers, I believe, is going to make it stick, and he does. As they come back through to turn number 4, 5, Jeffers is taking the lead back from Giafoni, and he jets out of turn number 6 as well over to 7. So Jeffers into the lead. Giafoni now having to battle it out here with Jimmy Lockhart. Lockhart, who won the race earlier today, race number 2, qualified a little more poorly, followed back in 6th. Talked to me after the session, had some gearbox issues, but the car is good. He was crediting, of course, Dan Mitchell and the crew. They have rolled out a great car here throughout the weekend. They were fast on open test day, and he has been very good as well. We'll see if Jimmy Lockhart can grab another one. I also asked Jimmy, I said, is the pressure off? You know, you've won that first race. You get all that pressure as a young driver to win that first race, right? You want to get the monkey off your back to get that first win. He was very honest. He goes, for me, the pressure's even more because now I got to win again. I've won a race. People know I can win. I got to go out and win all the time now. So that's the pressure you're going to see out of a driver like Jimmy Lockhart. There's a move a little further back. It's Schwartz making a move to the inside of Joey Brienza. Schwartz got a better run down into the corner, and Brienza kind of checked up a little bit as Schwartz made the dive bomb move to the inside. I believe that was for 6th position. So move Schwartz to 6th, Brienza up to 7th. He's got Brady Golan behind him as well. Connor Roberts up there flexing his muscles. Connor Roberts is a great story. We had him in the booth earlier today for USF Pro 2000. They picked up a USF 2000 car, been doing some testing throughout the season, trying to get him ready. But he also does a ton of racing in Spec Racer Ford. So a number of drivers who come into our series don't have a ton of seat time in any kind of race car whatsoever. They find they like cars, they want to try it, they go to a Skip Barber racing school, whatever it may be. They jump in, they find a racing team, and they want to start, doing testing. But they haven't done karts, they haven't done cars. Connor Roberts is a different story. Here's a guy that's got a ton of Spec Racer Ford competition under his belt. 70-plus races running in one of the most competitive series you can run in the SCCA. He's done extremely well in the majors in his southeast region as well. So I'm not surprised by the speed we've seen out of Connor. He was running inside the top 10 in race number 1 yesterday afternoon. Driver in front of him spun going into turn 19, rolled back into him as he tried to make evasive maneuvers around the outside. So he gets collected and would have brought home a top 10 finish in his debut race. He got collected with an incident on pit lane, leaving the grid for race 2. So redemption potentially here for Connor Roberts, who now runs in the 9th spot. So again, lots of differing levels of experience for the drivers here. One like Jack Jeffers, one of the top young kart racers in North America over the last number of years. Great to see him jumping into juniors now and really starting to star here at the second half of the season, looking to try to lock down P2 in the championship with a big victory here. He leads right now over Giafoni, Lockhart, Barker, and Armstrong. Armstrong, P5, the driver, who's trying to see if he can get to second, but will be third at the very least. It's been a good season for Quinn Armstrong. Multiple wins on the season. There's Giafoni potentially trying the outside. Little wide run there. That's going to allow the 48 of Lockhart to get through and maybe even go all the way to the lead. Jefferson's going to go back down to the bottom again. Lockhart wisely checks back up as Jeffers just carried the speed a little bit through the corner there in turn number 12. Giafoni really with nowhere to go, and Lockhart took full advantage of it. Look at this side-by-side action again. Giafoni, great shot here from the drone. That is a perfect place to watch these guys kind of jink on each other a little bit of contact there. That has brought back Barker and Armstrong. That's the front-running quintet. The big gap then back to Hudson Schwartz in 6th. Wow. All right, the juniors are going to lay it all out here on the final race of the season. Why not? Let's do it. Lap 5 in the books, 7 to go. Look at this train. Remember, these drivers have raced each other through so many great events throughout the season. Sebring, Barber, VIR, Road America. Look at this battle here. Giafoni's going to try that outside run again. Once again, a big wide run out of the corner for Jack Jeffers as he runs him out to the outside of the racetrack. Jeffers, I would say you own the apex, you own the exit, but he totally used it up on the exit there and allowed Lockhart to come back into second once again. Jack Jeffers, who had Giafoni get by him in race number 2, tried to come back on the inside at turn 13, but overcooked it and got into the side of him. He looped him around. Damage to the left front of Jeffers put him behind the wall back to the trailer. Giafone able to fight his way back forward to position, had already secured the championship, and it was Lockhart who took full advantage of that as he was able to dive through after the contact and take the lead, run away to the win. Here comes Giafone again, thinking to the inside. No. Back to turn 11. Do we see back-to-back wins here for Jimmy Lockhart on a Sunday in Texas? Not only would it be back-to-back wins for Lockhart, it would actually be 3 straight victories on the day, a sweep for VRD Racing, because Nikita Johnson winning the race at the start of the day, the USF 2000 driver winning in his debut weekend. Big move down the bottom for Giafone. He rolls more speed. Can he hold on to it? Gets it turned very quickly. Again, side by side, he and Lockhart. Lockhart going to have to give this one up and pitch back down. Watch that wing. Here comes Barker as well. Ethan Barker. Again, in this top 5 right now. Barker, the only driver who have not yet got a win. Barker in the number 12. He's getting challenged by Armstrong, who's maybe getting a little impatient. He knows he's got to finish ahead of Jeffers. 4 points the difference. Remember, Jeffers, though, with 1 bonus point. I wonder if that's collected in here. I'm not sure whether or not that bonus point is already in there for Jeffers for starting on the pole. Jack right now trying to see if he can't get the most laps led as well. That's another bonus point. Fast lap right now belongs to Max Taylor, who's back out on the racetrack in the number 33. Unsure what happened to him. And a driver, I believe, off. Yeah, we have a driver off the racetrack. One of the J. Howard driver development cars is off. I'm not sure exactly where they are, if they're out of harm's way or not. Nope, full course yellow. Indeed, so a driver has gone off track. Our tower cam picking that one up. There it is right there. There's your full course yellow. That's lap 6. So restack them. Looks to me like the number 5 of Dane Scott. It has been a rough weekend for Dane, and I think there may be right front damage. That right front tire looks a bit askew, so it could be damage for the 5 of Dane Scott. Like I said, it's been a rough weekend for him. He's the driver who spun in turn 19, rolled backwards, collected Connor Roberts on the last lap of race 1. He and Roberts getting together. I don't know what happened. I haven't got the scoop yet, but he had contact on the pit lane in race 2. Yeah, and there indeed is damage there. As you can see, the racetrack, far part of the track, I'm going to say probably coming out of turn number 12 or turn number 15. The issue there for Dane Scott. The crew will have to get over to him. That's going to require a tow truck for sure. They're going to have to get the hook out for him. Dane Scott going to finish down in the 16th position. We'll bring him back around. I'll give you a full field rundown. We had a lot of action on that last lap as well. Jack Jeffers, I believe, holding the lead, but they'll bring him back around once again. They'll put lap number 7 in the books. The crew's going to head on out there to see if we can't get to that car and get him hooked up quickly. Big racetrack here in terms of getting the AMR USF Pro safety team out to him. It takes a little while to get there once we've locked things down. Field working its way out of 11 over to 12. Again, lap 7 will go in the books if they get it cleaned up quickly. Though there's more than one car involved. Aiden Potter involved as well. So we only got the one shot there. Now we're getting more. Yeah, indeed, another driver involved in that incident as well. So more than one driver connected in this particular incident, this shunt. There you have it as well. I believe that may be Aiden Potter. I'm trying to figure who hasn't come back to put lap 6 in. Aiden Potter did not as either. So a couple of J. Howard cars potentially out of this one. So one crew going to work on this driver here, and there may potentially. It looks like they may have the EMT out there as well to make sure that Aiden Potter rather is okay. Looks to me like he's out of the car, which is great. They'll get him into the safety crew to talk to the EMT, make sure he's all right. So drivers working their way around here. Still 21 minutes on the clock. Again, we have a lot of time with these 12-lap races. We have a 40-minute window to get it done. There's going to be a little bit of cleanup here on this one. I wonder whether or not we'll potentially go red or just stay here on the yellow. It is a long racetrack, as we know. So the long laps under yellow will make it a little easier. And, of course, keeping them circulating right now with some air whistling through them, I think a little bit better than parking them potentially on pit lane. But that could happen still to try to preserve laps. We'll give you a rundown when they come back around here to put lap number 7 in. As they're, I believe, taking care of Aiden Potter in the incident there. Drivers back onto the front straightaway. Lap 7, let's give you an update. We'll give you a full field rundown as they come across the line to put lap 7 in the books here. Jack Jeffers with the lead. Nicholas Giafoni second. Jimmy Lockhart, winner from race number 2 in third. Ethan Barker fourth. Quinn Armstrong fifth. Hudson Schwartz in 6 spots. Joy Brienza in 7th. Brady Gold in 8th. Bianca Bustamante now up into 9th. She started 15th. She's up into 9th spot. Connor Roberts, who started 13th, now up into 10th. Carson Eder 11th. Eric Schouten in 12th. Hudson Potter 13th. Max Taylor, who was well back. There he is right there. He's going to get to catch the tail of the field, so watch for Max Taylor to get some work done here. And then Aiden Potter and Dane Scott, the drivers out here on lap number 5. So indeed, Aiden Potter and Dane Scott, the 2 drivers involved here on lap number 5. Actually lap 6, and then Lucas Facuri and Giovanni Cabrera, as we know, out of the race on the opening lap in 2 separate incidents. Tow truck going to work now on the car of Aiden Potter. Hopefully we got another truck going to work here on Dane Scott as well. Get both of those cars out of the way so we can get back to green. 5 laps remaining. We go back at it here this next time around, which is doubtful. Lap 8 would mean 4, so more likely to see maybe a 3-lap dash at the end. Last race of the season for USF Juniors. This series presented by Cooper Tires. Young drivers 14 to about 19 years of age in the program here this year. Again, one of the things about USF Juniors, you can be as young as 13, although you do have to turn 14 during the racing season. In fact, before the final race, which will be the Sunday of the season, before today, you would have had to have turned 14 years of age. Interesting as we look at drivers, so many young drivers, a lot of them getting into the program. But we see, again, a number of the drivers, when you're winning championships, they're 18, 17, 18, 19 years of age. Maturity definitely plays in this level of motorsports. Looks like they've got the car of Dane Scott, Aiden Potter, cleaned up on the straightaway. That was from 11 to 12. Unsure whether or not Dane Scott's still on the racetrack or not. They'll get the car of Hudson Potter. Yeah, we may be good to go now. See the lights still flashing on top of the pace car. If we do go green when we get back around here, it will give us a 4 laps to cap off the run. First 5. First lap was rough. Got going again. We had a green to checker race earlier today. Not this one to cap things up. There you go, right there. Shot from the drone as they were working on Dane Scott there. So not quite done with that car either. So maybe one more as we're going to get the tow truck on that car as well. The machine to Dane Scott. They've got that thing up on the hook. There it is. The crew getting that secured. As soon as it's secured, they'll be able to get it behind the wall. We'll be able to go back to green flag racing. I don't know that we're going to be there. There's Dane Scott right there walking away. That's obviously great news to see him walking away from the incident. Yeah, coming out of turn number 19 through 20 right now, we're not going to be able to go back to green this time by. So lap 8 will go in the books. Based on what I'm seeing here and what they've done with Dane Scott's car, we're going to have a 3-lap dash at the end. We're going to be able to come back to green on lap number 9. Be 3 laps to go when they come back around. Again, I can't reiterate enough how tough it is for the crews, teams, everybody involved. So let's take this opportunity as we do have a bit of time here on this final lap before we go back to green flag racing to give a big shout out, big kudos to first and foremost all the race crews, the guys and girls who are under the tents. Again, folks, 107 degrees here right now. It's 110, right? You know this. We're at a track like this, all the heat beating down. It's baking into the asphalt, the concrete around this racetrack. Everything is so unbelievably hot. Everybody doing the best they can to try to get into some air conditioning, drink as much water as possible. You know, as we know, cold towels over top of everybody. This has been a slog for all of the crew members who are part of the action. The drivers, of course, you know, they're here to race. They get a chance to potentially get into some air conditioning. Out in the car, at least got that wind blowing through. I talked to a bunch of drivers. And once you're in the car, it's still unbelievably hot. You're breathing hot air, but man, to be able to have some air whistling through is not too bad. It's when you come in to get a tire change, that's when it's really bad. But then you think as well, on a stop like this, couple of incidents, you look out and see the AMR USF Pro Safety Team out on this racetrack in fire suits. And I'm telling you this right now, in the car whistling around. The guys on pit lane, they were allowed to wear shorts this weekend because the heat was so tough. It's still unbelievably hot. The AMR guys and the track safety crew are out there in full Nomex suits. You saw that out there. I'm telling you, these guys are they're the stars of this weekend, no doubt about it, to be able to do what they've done. So, again, shout out to all you guys out here. And, again, one more shout out to the guys back in the truck, our production crew in the USF Pro TV truck right now. 103 degrees inside the truck. They're doing everything they can to keep the electrics cool enough to hopefully get through to the end of the broadcast. If you've been following any of the other 4 races we've had this weekend, the 2 qualifying sessions, we've had some issues a little bit here and there with our with the stream, and that's a lot of it's just due to the sheer temperature. We've had some issues. So again, I've been doing this for a long time, over I think 28 years I've been in this business right now, and I've never been to a race where it was 107 up to potentially 110, 111. My worst was Amarillo, Texas, 106. So a new record here at 107 for me, and I'm sure that many people in the paddock feel exactly the same way. This has been the warmest weekend probably in many careers. So kudos to everybody who has been able to get through here. I know we're not quite done yet. There's still, when we're all sitting down, a couple hours here for the crews to get everything put away, cleaned up. I'm sure some cold beverages are coming to many of our guys and girls throughout the evening here. Indeed, hoping that they're going to be able to make it through to the end and be sucking that water down that we need. Tough situation, as we said, a couple drivers being out of this one here, both Aiden Potter and Dane Scott, not able to get to the end of the final race of the weekend. These drivers are all set to go again. You can see the lights are out on the pace car. Lap 9 will go in the books when we come back around. Jeffers, Giafone, Lockhart, Barker, Armstrong. That's the top 5. The only non-winner in that group, Ethan Barker. Would he ever love to break through for the victory in the number 12 for VRD Racing? That would keep the VR streak going for the day. Already a USF Pro 2000 win for Nikita Johnson. Jimmy Lockhart breaking the nut and getting that first win in USF Juniors, the one he's been searching for and working so hard for. Here they come out of turn number 19 over to 20. Jeffers will lead them. Time to go racing again. 3 laps in when they get back to the line. Jeffers punches off the exclusive Autosport machine. Here we go. D-Force behind him with Giafone, and then a couple of VRDs with Lockhart and Barker. They'll snake it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, yeah. Turn 1. Giafone first to break. He'll try to go to the outside, see if he can't pinch him down a little bit here. They'll work their way back up the hill, and Giafone doing a good job. It'll be a wide run, though, again, as, contact between he and Jeffers. Jeffers tried to pinch him under the outside, and Jeffers up in the air. This is going to allow, I believe, potentially Armstrong to come back and fight him. So Lockhart goes back to the lead. Barker into second as Jeffers was trying to force the issue to the outside of the racetrack. Any damage potentially for Jeffers. Remember, he and Armstrong in a fight for second place in points. And indeed, wow, what a change there. Let's see how it shakes back out. Giafone went to the outside, and Jeffers essentially tried to run him out of room on the outside of the racetrack, and eventually contact happened as Giafone really had nowhere else to go. That shot Jeffers up in the air, and these are strong race cars, these Tatis JR23s for sure. We'll see what happens as everybody fights on back. There's a move again. Giafone trying to get himself back up here. This is opening everything back up. Quinn Armstrong sees this as an opportunity to attack and potentially go to second overall in the championship. The stream all the way down the back straightaway. Some chaos to start things off. It'll be 2 to go next time by. Lockhart looking to go back-to-back. VRD looking to sweep the day. Ethan Barker right there, though, in second. Will this be the first win for Ethan Barker? What a great story for Ethan, I'll tell you that. Ethan Barker out of Houston, Texas, one of the many Texans here this weekend. Not only does he run here in USF Juniors, the guy does a ton of oval racing as well. I love it. An open wheel modified, a late model, doing a bunch of different racing to round out the craft. He's fighting hard there in the wheel. Oh, and he gets run off there to the outside of the racetrack by Giafoni. Uses him up on the outside. He's going to go back to P5. That's going to allow Jeffers to get through. It's going to allow, I believe, Lockhart to get through. Or that maybe Schwartz up in there now. As Lockhart, I think, as we talked about, I think he's the driver out front. We'll see as they come back around. Number of drivers out there in turn number 19. Another full field rundown because we have shaken them up here. 2 to go this time by. 2 laps remaining. If they've let Lockhart get out front again, that's not good. He was the man to beat when he got a clean air in race number 1. Look at the gap he has now. Lockhart, your leader. In second, I believe, is Giafoni, waiting for live timing to pop up so I can give you the full field rundown. Quinn Armstrong into second. That is Armstrong, not Giafoni. The Aussie has gone to P2. And is this going to be enough? Is Giafoni, I think, has got some wing damage. He does. Giafoni with wing damage on the front of that D-Force machine. All the chaos. Brienza trying to fight up there with him now as well, as is Barker. Barker gets by in the number 12. This is going to hurt Giafoni, but he'll try to limp it home. The wing just kind of askew a little bit, but this is huge, huge for Quinn Armstrong. Because, again, there's a 3-point difference between second and third. Jeffers is going to have to get P3. He does have the 1 bonus point for qualifying on pole. I don't know who's going to be second in the points when this is all said and done. Jeffers has got to dig in. But it's Quinn Armstrong up into second spot now. More chaos further back. Brienza's going to make a move to the inside of one of the, I believe, Brady Golan. Oh, that might actually have been him getting by Giafoni. Just chaos here on the restart as the drivers went after each other. Down into turn number 12. Jimmy Lockhart, who has finished in the top 5 at every venue on the circuit here this year, has done such a great job finally getting that win, this time staying out of the chaos. He was kind of part of the chaos on a number of races here in 2023. Able to stay out of it here in race 2, gets the win. He stays out of it so far in race number 3 and now has a pretty sizable lead. This is the battle here between Joey Brienza and Nicholas Giafoni, who has that wing issue. You can see the front wing on that car is not in place at all, and that is going to throw the balance off, especially in some of the faster corners here. Brienza trying to stretch away. Jeffers, though, he's the man on the move. He's trying to close back up. Jeffers needs to get back up to Quinn Armstrong. Right now, as they run, they were 4 points when they came into the race. I don't know whether or not Jeffers 303 had the bonus point for qualifying on pole. That would be 4 points. That may be the difference. Second and third right now would be 25 and 22. Jeffers led a bunch of laps. I'm not sure if he led as many laps as well. So in the end, Jeffers could get that bonus point, but he's closing up now. So Jack Jeffers trying to see if he can't steal that back. The contact between Jeffers and Giafoni, this wouldn't even be an issue right now. Had Jeffers not gotten into the side of Giafoni in race number 2, and he set back a little bit and held on to second, this would be all said and done essentially for P2. But that contact between Giafoni and Jeffers going a little too deep over into turn number 13 and dropping down to 15th in the order, I think 16th after a penalty. That severely changed the championship complexion in terms of points. Because I'll tell you, we're not done yet with the leader as well. But this is the final circuit. 1 lap. This is it. Finishing things up. Quinn Armstrong trying to reel him in. Armstrong, if he goes to P1, I think he'll lock down second in the championship. But we're not said and done yet. Lockhart's got the spot, but here comes Quinn Armstrong, the Aussie, digging in for D-Force. What's it going to be? VRD, D-Force, exclusive. 1, 2, 3. Jack Jeffers. I think if he finishes third, Armstrong second, I think that unofficially he may have second in the championship, but it's going to be super close because if it's a tie, I believe the win would go to Armstrong on the tie. We were trying to figure that out. There it comes to the inside. Jeffers going to go. They're side by side. This is going to give Lockhart some room. Who's going to get back to 13? Does Jeffers have the spot? He does. Jeffers makes a move, and that may be it for second. Here comes Armstrong, though, back. They're not done on the final circuit. Armstrong going to try to send it to the outside. Does he over-under coming through? He does not quite. The room is not there. They'll work their way back. Folks, this is going to be Jimmy Lockhart's second win of the season. These guys are fighting it out for second. These two drivers battling it out for runner-up in the championship to see who gets P2 when we get to the banquet next Monday evening in Portland, Oregon. Out of the final couple of corners. Here they come. And Jeffers trying to hold him off. It'll be a drag race to the line, but that doesn't matter because it's back-to-back jacks for Jimmy Lockhart. He will win again for VRD Racing. 2 wins in a row for Lockhart here to cap off the season, and a sweep of the day for VRD. Nikita Johnson winning in USF Pro 2000, and Lockhart goes back-to-back jacks here in USF Juniors. Jack Jeffers coming home in second, unofficially second place in the points. Armstrong will be third. Again, those are all unofficial. Hudson Schwartz ends up in fourth. Ethan Barker fifth. Joey Brienza back up to sixth. Max Taylor leverages that yellow to work his way back up into the seventh position. Brady Gold in eighth. Nicholas Giafoni soldiers through with a damaged front wing to finish ninth. And another top 10 finish for Bianca Bustamante. Started 15th. She goes up into 10th. Connor Roberts 11th. Eric Schouten, Hudson Potter, Carson Eder cap off the 14 drivers who made it to the checkered flag at the end of the last race of the 2023 season. Man, that was a wild one at the end there. Everybody's scrapping it out big time. Jack Jeffers, again, it would have been easy had he not got into the contact in race number 2, but he did. And he had to fight for it. He ran Giafoni out of room. Again, this is why I say unofficial. You never know whether or not the race control are going to be looking at any of the things that happened on the racetrack. But the bottom line is, as they come across the line unofficially, Lockhart with the win, Jefferson second, Armstrong third. That's the podium. Hudson Schwartz finishing in fourth, and Ethan Barker rounding out the top 5. Great job for Ethan Barker for sure, no doubt about that. Jimmy Lockhart, I believe, is going to jump over Joey Brienza. I think we'll see Jimmy Lockhart fourth overall in the points, and so he will be the top point getter for VRD Racing on the season. 2 wins to finish the season moves Jimmy Lockhart, I believe, to 4th place in points. Wild one for sure here in USF Juniors, and that caps things off here trackside-wise. Don't go anywhere on the stream, folks. When we get back, we're going to get these drivers up into victory lane, up onto the podium to cap off the 2023 USF Junior season.
Get them while they're hot.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
Ready? And it's all thanks to Kyle.
Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Get them while they're hot.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com,
So easy.
which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
It's ready.
Wow. Are you sure it's ready?
Oh, it's ready. And it's all thanks to Kyle.
Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper.
Underway, getting our drivers hydrated, some cool towels in the back. Unbelievably warm out for these drivers, but again, tremendous job for all of them here as we wrap up our Cooper Tires Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix, capping off this year's USF Juniors Championship program as well. Okay, yeah, so. All right. So the driver finishing in third spot right now, I'm not sure if he's going to come out quite yet because he has a bleeding nose right now. Quinn Armstrong finishing third spot today. He's working on what he knows. We'll try to get him out here for the podium photos when we possibly can. He's going to get that taken care of. But we'll start with the driver coming home in second spot today. Jack Jeffers from Exclusive Autosport finishing in second today. A hard-fought battle to work his way up into second. Hop up here for P2. Ruben Sanchez is going to help us out here. Ruben, come on in with the trophy. There you go, Ruben. Thank you very much. Hop up here and hook him up here with the trophy. Jack Jeffers finishing in second spot. That second place finish enough to put him into the second spot of the championship as well. Thank you so much, Ruben. told that Quinn Armstrong has got things handled. Quinn, come on out here, man. Finishing in third spot. Great job for Quinn Armstrong today. Let's get him out here. There he is. Nicely done. Nothing, a little bit of paper towel will help, right? Get it in there for sure. Keegan Winter and Aliyah Davis are going to help us out here. Aliyah, pardon me, is that right? Getting close. Hop up on top there with Quinn, finishing in third spot today. Great job for these drivers out here in supremely tough conditions. I think we need to talk about that, how tough it was for these drivers out here today for those 12 laps. A number of incidents on the racetrack. Hopefully the drivers, they're all okay that were involved in those wrecks on track. We'll wrap things up, though, and what a great way to cap off the season for this driver here. Not only does he win a couple of races, but also moves his way up to fourth place in points, top point getter for his team, which was fielding 4 cars this year. But a great way to finish off the season. Back-to-back jacks for the driver, Jimmy Lockhart, winning today. Second race, Jimmy, I'll come up and meet you up there. Hey, one race is good. To come back and get the second is amazing. Obviously, a lot of stuff happening around you, but sometimes you're in it, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're able to get away from it. You were away from all the action today, and that's why you're up on top of the podium here.
I mean, it feels amazing. It was a great race. Ran really consistent all race. Was just trying to save tires the whole time because tires were just getting destroyed out there with the heat, and really just saving tires till the end. And was able to get up front after the tangle up front, and I was able to drive away with it.
I asked you about that. I said, is the pressure off now? You've won your first race. The pressure is most definitely on even more because I got to keep winning. You want pressure on for next year or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully we can make it to next year. I mean, it's still unknown, but we're going to do our best to be able to make it next year.
You and I have talked about budget issues, and you trying to make sure you're here. Hey, listen, if sponsors are looking at you, winning a couple of races at the end of the season is probably good for it.
Yeah, of course. It always helps.
Who do you want to thank today, Jimmy?
Really just the whole team, my family watching, even family all over the world watching in Edinburgh, my sister's watching with my cousins, and just really everybody, the whole team that helped me this entire season. It's just been a great way to end it off.
Well done. Back-to-back wins for this driver, Jimmy Lockhart. Let's bring that first place trophy in here now. Set up right now. Come on in here. Jose Perez helping us out again. Some of our guests from Discount Tire, part of the action here today. So, again, a fantastic. We saw a lot of action. It was the end of the season. Everybody kind of throwing everything at it. Send it, I'm sure, was the call for so many of the drivers here because we saw a lot of big dive bomb moves. A lot of drivers kind of running each other out of room a little bit here. But Jimmy Lockhart, again, like I had said before, won the season, at least one. This they had the speed. VR off the trailer so impressively on the open day, continued on, and Jimmy just really showed the experience I think that he has got through this season, and that's one of the things we always look at in this program. The drivers gain experience throughout. They're raw rookies when we roll out the first couple of weekends, but as they start racing, they get the racecraft they need. Of course, many of them coming out of karting to be able to get that feel for driving a race car, which is so much different. A Formula car, a lot different than driving a kart. You could just see the experience that Jimmy was showing on the racetrack and was able to kind of use his head when he needed to come out when others were losing theirs. So a great run again for Lockhart with the win. Jack Jeffers coming home in second. Quinn Armstrong in that third spot. Plugged nicely. We'll see at the championship celebration in Portland, getting them a chance to come and join us there for the USF 2000, USF Pro 2000 finale weekend as well. Make sure, I'm going to have both these guys, I think, in the booth as well in the broadcast, obviously. Well, gentlemen, it is time to cap off the season. Grip it and rip it. Let's celebrate Jimmy Lockhart's win. 23 season. Champagne will, and that's the way you cap things off. These young drivers work the series of USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires. What a season it's been with these young drivers. Our first season with the and throughout the season, not today in race 3. We've had a lot of fantastic. We're going to USF 2000 in 2024. For those of you two, so much for being part of the action throughout Tires. My name's Rob Howden. For now.